Let's actually pin down what this system is so we have a solid foundation. The text defines the 013 Phoenix system as a self-correcting cybernetic protocol designed to transition human physiology and cognition from a state of passive, automatic reactivity to intentional reality design. Basically, it treats your consciousness as a programmable circuit. The ultimate goal here is to move you from being a sleeping self, someone who just blindly reacts to triggers, to an awake self, who actively, sovereignly designs their own reality.
Okay, so to understand how we actually design that reality, we have to look at what's going on under the hood. Inside all of us, there are these two massive opposing forces. On one side, you have the upper inner world, beautifully symbolized here by the waters of memory. And opposing it is the lower outer world, represented by the fire of will. Water represents our deep emotional memory archive, right? It's our soul's lived experience. Fire, on the flip side, is our thermodynamic kinetic drive. It's our raw willpower. It's our capacity to just get up and take action.
The crucial thing to grasp is how these elements map directly to our internal trinity. The text breaks this down into a really stark contrast between the soul and the spirit. The soul, which is tied to the divine feminine and those waters of memory we just talked about, is highly intuitive, emotional, and receptive. Its whole job is to receive an experience and give it profound meaning. The spirit, representing the divine masculine and the fire of will, provides focus, structure, and that kinetic drive. It's the active force that says, I will. And this is a huge but, if these two distinct forces aren't actively talking to each other, your internal system descends into absolute chaos.
Which brings us to the structural solution, and honestly, the absolute centerpiece of today's explainer. Enter Key 4, the Heart Gateway. In the logic of the Phoenix system, if Earth is your physical foundation, water is your memory, and fire is your willpower, then air is your harmony. The Heart Gateway acts as the central hub of your consciousness. It's this middle world where the soul and the spirit, the inner and the outer, finally sit down at the table to negotiate, balance, and collaborate.
Let's just quickly rattle off the specific attributes of this gateway from the text's harmonic cheat sheet, just to see how it's programmed into the system. The governing element is air. The color is green, symbolizing living harmony, healing, and growth. The musical note is D. The archetype is the father. Now, not father as in dominance, but as a structure that actively protects and provides a safe space for growth. Its domain is the middle world, the center of choice. And its core statement, its defining action within you, is simply, I breathe.
The text actually maps these forces using an elemental cross. Picture the architectural positioning for a second. Earth grounds our physical form below. Water remembers emotion on the left side, and fire transforms energy on the right. Sitting right up at the top, acting as this supreme balancing interface, is air, Key 4. Its core function is to literally think out structural pathways. It breathes that much-needed space between our burning, fiery desires and our deep, sometimes really heavy emotional memories.
Mechanically speaking, the source states, the heart functions as an interface, a gateway where feelings and thoughts can communicate with one another. I love this framing because it totally strips away all those Valentine's Day cliches we've been fed. The heart isn't just some passive, squishy source of feelings. It is a cybernetic bridge. It's the literal hardware interface where the raw, unfiltered data of your emotions perfectly meets the analytical logic of your thoughts.
So, why is this specific fourth ether alignment such a massive deal? The text highlights the serious danger of having these forces unbalanced. Thoughts without feeling just become cold and detached. I mean, you can have these brilliant, logical plans, but without emotional resonance, they completely lack human meaning and they fail to actually motivate anybody. Conversely, feelings without thought become highly unstable. You might be bursting with incredible passion, but without the structure of analytical thought, your actions become impulsive, scattered, and honestly pretty destructive. The fourth ether alignment is absolutely crucial because it stops this catastrophic internal short circuit from happening.
Because of this interface function, the text entirely redefines what love actually means within the system. In the context of Key 4, love is not merely romance or some passive emotional attachment. Instead, it's a deliberate, conscious practice of alignment. It is highly active. It's expressed practically out in the real world through service, sacrifice, honesty, and compassion. In this framework, love isn't something that makes you soft or weak. It is the ultimate structural harmonizer. It pulls all those scattered, conflicted pieces of your consciousness back into one cohesive, incredibly powerful whole.
And this internal harmony isn't just theoretical. It creates tangible results through what the source calls the chain of manifestation, or the chain of alignment. It's laid out like an unyielding spiritual law. Think of it like a domino effect.
Consciousness directs attention, attention directs energy, energy directs action, and action produces physical results. A harmonized heart, a perfectly balanced key 4, is the exact mechanism that successfully directs your spirit's willpower down this chain. If your heart is conflicted, your attention scatters, your energy divides against itself, and your reality design completely falls apart. But when you are aligned, you literally become a highly efficient force of nature.
To lock in that precise alignment, practitioners of the Phoenix system use very specific biosymbolic tools, like this heart meditation sigil. Check out the geometry here. You have the loopy spirals, representing the fluid waters of memory, perfectly combined with those sharp, angular lightning lines of the spirit. By intensely focusing your attention on these sequences, you can actually bypass the slow analytical limits, what they call the biological noise, of the conscious mind. It acts like a compiled block of code that automates your internal harmony, letting you audit your alignment in real time.
Which really brings us to the ultimate takeaway for Key 4. The source text nails it, stating, "Strength and compassion are not opposites. Wisdom requires both." You do not have to choose between being a driven, forceful architect of your life and being a deeply empathetic, connected human being. In fact, the Heart Gateway proves that structure actually gives form to your creativity and emotion provides vital purpose to your focus. You absolutely need both of them to build a reality that's actually worth living in.
All right, let's wrap this explainer up with a highly actionable piece of self-reflection straight from the source. This is the official daily audit for Key 4, and it's something you can use right this second. Ask yourself, where is there a conflict between what I am feeling and what I am thinking today? Try to pinpoint that exact friction point, because that is exactly where your heart gateway needs to step in and do its job as the interface. By auditing your internal baseline every single day, you step out of passive reactivity and step onto the path of true, intentional mastery. So, what will you harmonize today?